So I first wanted to start off with the price. The price with our discount code is only $439 US, making it possibly the best mid-size kicktail board out there. As for the deck is made up of bamboo, maple core, and fiberglass reinforced. The deck's length is 31.5 inches and the deck's width is 10 inches. The total weight of the board is 19.5 pounds and the max load is 330 pounds. I also like this bamboo design. It has this kind of subtle yet premium look to it that kind of beholds and embodies the old school kicktail kind of mentality. Now, I don't own a LINNPOWER Viper, but from what I'm told, they're extremely similar. They just have a little bit of a different shape, but for the most part, the deck is the same as the Viper. But when I look at this deck, I think of the loaded Omakase, which is arguably the best traditional push skate kicktail board on the market. But with this, it kind of exaggerates all its features. I think the wheel wells and the flare-ups and the concave and the kicktail is a little bit more aggressive than the Omakase. So when utilizing the kicktail, when I put my foot all the way in the rear, it gives me more leverage to really do those deeper, more aggressive carves. Even the front wheel wells kind of act like a foot stop. But what I really like with the kicktail is always popping up the front end, going over manhole covers, sewers, cracks in the road, even the truncated domes on sidewalks. But I also utilize the rear wheel wells, and I plant my foot right in the beginning of the wheel well, which gives me this kind of low-key chill vibe leverage when I do low speed carves because I have a very narrow stance. But again, that's only when I'm doing really about under 15 miles per hour. But going back to the kicktail itself, my favorite part, hopping off a curb. There are curbs everywhere you go. So this is a real opportunity just to have a lot of fun. It really allows you to incorporate traditional skating and cruising. But then my second favorite thing to do with a kicktail board is manuals. Manuals are super fun. It takes a lot of practice to get good at them. I'm not the best at them, but I still like practicing them. And then there's reverts. Reverts are also fun. You can either start on the board, get a running start and do a revert, or do a 180 slide first and then revert it back to the front. And then of course, you got the pivoting aspect of things. You can utilize the kicktail to simply pivot the board. Whether you want to do a 180 turn, 360 turn, you want to be able to maneuver the board in little tight corners and just have maximum control of the board. Pivoting the board is crucial of a kicktail board. And then you can also utilize the kicktail to stop. If you're going a little too fast, you can put the board all the way up on its back end and use the bottom part of the kicktail to stop and even turn. Now, will this damage the bottom part of the deck? Sometimes, but LINNPOWER did think of that and put a plastic puck on the bottom end of the board so you can scratch this up as much as you want. If the deck takes some of the scratching, no worries, it's a skateboard, it's gonna get damaged here and there. Now, the last part of having a kicktail board, possibly the most crucial, is portability factor. The portability factor, in my opinion, is extremely important for a kicktail board. Not only is it very important to bring your board around to your college campus, to work, to run your daily errands, but you want to utilize it like a traditional push skateboard. Toss it around, treat it like a push skateboard without actually pushing. As to the wheels, the LINNPOWER Mini 5 is utilizing the OG boosted 85mm in diameter, 59mm in contact patch, and 78A durometer wheels. Now, I've been saying for a very long time that these are very underrated. First off, I love how these wheels have a sharp edge lip. In my opinion, that keeps the wheel a lot more predictable. The formula is very good and it really maintains your traction when carving hard. Having a quality smaller wheel gives you much more control underneath your feet, in my opinion. I've always chosen control over comfortability. If you do the same as a rider, you will realize that the functionality and the capability of a small urethane wheel is kind of endless. As for the trucks, the Mini 5 is utilizing gravity cast 50 degrees 8-inch reverse kingpin trucks. I'm told the bushings all around are 95A durometer, which definitely feels softer in my personal opinion. Now, these are definitely the carviest trucks I felt on a kicktail cruiser e-skate. If you're familiar with Carver Skate is a traditional board that really goes for ultimate surfer vibes. A lot of off-season surfers buy those boards just to mimic surfing. But if you plan on doing higher speeds, just tighten up the trucks a little bit, especially if you're running over imperfections in the road over 20 miles per hour. As for the ESC, The Mini 5 is utilizing Hobbywing's FOC ESC. The heatsink is CNC'd casting for more improved heat dissipation, which therefore will keep the electronics nice and cool. As for the remote, the classic Hobbywing remote auto on and auto off feature. It's got all the data you need, your speed modes, your battery for your board, battery for your remote, cruise control, trip and total miles, and you can also engage the lights with the remote. Double click the power button to engage the rear tail light, and if you yank the brakes, it'll have a flashing mode, which is a good safety feature because it tells the riders behind you that you are braking. As for the motors, the Mini 5 is utilizing Hobbywing's 5250 1500 watt belt drive motors. Reliable, safe, good performance, nothing really to complain about. As for the battery, the LINNPOWER Mini 5 is utilizing a 12S 2P 388 watt hours 45E cells, which I believe are the same cells that are on the ISINWHEEL V10, which I still have zero problems with. Now you may be thinking, this isn't some super high-end battery cell, and I agree. I think this is a great way to save money. As long as the results are good, you do not need a super high-end battery for a smaller kicktail board. As for range, I'm a 160-pound rider and the temperature was about 62 degrees Fahrenheit. I rode about 70% in mode 4 and about 30% in mode 3. I got a total of 19.5 miles with the LINNPOWER Mini 5. In my opinion, that is plenty of range for this size board. If you want a bigger battery for more range, it'll make the board heavier and bulky.
Just about my 25% ring.
So just like I was saying before, if you have lower cost battery cells, that is a great way to save money. If the results are still good, then having that lower quality battery cell doesn't really matter.
Okay guys, here we go. Giant hill test. Same hill we always use. LINNPOWER Mini 5, almost full battery, stock 85mm wheels, speed mode 4. All right, let's do it. Full throttle, 12 miles per hour, 14, 16, 17, 18, looks like it's stuck at 18, getting up the hill fine, but it's not flying up it. 19, alrighty. It didn't fly up the hill, but it certainly got up it with no problems. Let's check the rider app. 18.2 miles per hour up the giant hill with the small boosted 85mm wheels. Okay guys, acceleration test on the LINNPOWER Mini 5, full battery, speed mode 4. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. It's definitely not powerful, but for the price range, under $450, I believe, with our discount code, you can't really complain. You should not be prioritizing power with a mini kicktail board. You just shouldn't. It's about portability. It's about that cruising. It's about that commuting. It's about the fun and the carve. Not crazy power, not crazy range. All right, brake test at 15 miles per hour. 1, 2, 3, brake. Very good. Very good. No complaints from me. Okay guys, here we go. Top speed test on the LINNPOWER Mini 5, stock 85mm boosted wheels. Up a slight hill, full battery. All right, let's do it. Remote says 26, 27, 28, 29. Whew. That's plenty of speed for a kicktail board. I don't care what anybody says. You don't need all these kind of crazy high speeds for a kicktail board. All right, let's check the rider app. Rider app says 28.5 miles per hour. And again, it was up a slight hill with the small 85mm boosted wheels.
A few things worth mentioning. As expected, LINNPOWER's unboxing experience is very good. Very well packaged, didn't move anywhere. Inside the box, you have your remote, your T-tool, your charger for your board, your charger for your remote, extra Allen keys, and of course your owner's manual. Now the standard charger is only 1.5 amps, which is pretty dang small. I know they're trying to keep costs low, I get it, but I would still go to a 2 to 2.5 amp charger. Now when you grab the board out of the box, you'll notice the wheels are covered in like this kind of sticky saran wrap covering. I think this is kind of silly. Why cover up the wheels? You're just gonna ride the board. It's not like you're really protecting the wheels from getting dirty inside of a box. It was kind of a pain in the butt getting some of them off. Obviously not a big deal. It's just one of those things I want to mention that's kind of a pain in the butt. Now speaking of the wheels, almost all street boards I go over with smaller wheels, I go over this. The motors sit kind of low, especially when you're utilizing somewhat smaller traditional wheels with the motors pointed inward. So when you go over little curves and little imperfections like this, just make sure you brace yourself, which also means the motor mounts will get scratched up. But don't worry, they can take the damage. Now the last thing I don't really love is the battery casing. I've mentioned this on a few other boards. When holding it normally like this, it pushes up against your wrist and forearm. Or you can just grab it by the actual battery enclosure and it'll be more comfortable. I just wish somehow, some way, these battery enclosures will be a lot thinner. Final thoughts. It's really good to have a board like this because it's not too small and it's not too big. When it's too big, it's too heavy. When it's too heavy, it makes it hard to carry and to commute with. But when it's too small, usually the electronics aren't too great. Not enough power to get up a hill, crap top speed, not enough range to make it to the store and back, and it also feels like a little toy. But with the Mini 5, it's a great middle ground kicktail cruiser board. It also has a great price from a very good company. You can also slap on some Mad 105s, orangatang dad bods, or other Kugoo pattern wheels, such as the entire lineup of BOA wheels. It's very impressive how fast LINNPOWER has been growing in this e-skate community in such little time with such high quality boards with such a diverse lineup. You got this Mini 5 as the most affordable cruiser kicktail. You got the Viper if you want more performance in a kicktail cruiser. You got the Evo MK1 if you want that LaCroix style board. You got the smaller Zephyr longboard, which is my personal favorite in their lineup because it's such an awesome little shredder and at such a good price. And then you got the race inspired The One for all you racetrack enthusiasts. So if you want any of those boards, use our discount code at checkout. Thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.